Hi everyone, my name is Audrey, and I am the prickliest girl in my class. I was nicknamed a witch because I cut off my entire environment from me. In the blink of an eye, I cut off relationships with friends, acquaintances, and even my boyfriend. Have you ever done that? If so, give me some likes and pluses in the comments. I'll tell you how it happened, and most importantly, why I decided to burn bridges after all. There were a lot of different people in my class. I had my own friends, my friend Evie, April, and my boyfriend Edgar. The four of us went together everywhere. They even called us the foursome. I adored my friends and loved my boyfriend. We could share everything, and I knew these guys would always support me. However, there was one thing I never did or told even them. My mom used to say I was good. She really thought my friends were my reward. "Someday I'll meet them, I promise you. I'll do anything to make sure you don't feel ashamed," she said. And then one day, life was divided. I drew a line and decided I didn't need these people anymore. I missed a couple of days of school and didn't answer my phone. Evie, April, and Edgar kept calling and texting, but I just ignored their messages. I walked into class and didn't even look in their direction and just sat down at my desk. The guys in my boyfriend's faces stretched. They ran up and started hugging me and asking me questions. And I said, "I'm sorry, guys, I don't want to talk to you anymore." "Are you kidding me?" "What's wrong? Tell me. Is it something at home?" "Audrey, why?" I stared at the spot in front of me and didn't even blink. Amanda walked by, the pest in my life. Amanda is a girl from a wealthy family who hadn't been taught to respect other people's lives, and what she loved more than anything was gossip and intrigue. "Just like that, our Audrey suddenly became a witch? None of your business, Amanda. Just piss off." "Why? She's my classmate too, and I'm also wondering what happened that she suddenly doesn't want to talk to any of you. Or maybe you two hooked up with Edgar?" "I'll give you something better to do with your face. Would you like that?" April clenched her fists, but Edgar stopped her. "I'll talk to you later. Amanda, stay out of this." "This is just the beginning." My friends sat back down, and I just kept looking at the blackboard in the classroom. They were waiting for an explanation, but there wasn't one, so I headed for the door. At the school gate, someone grabbed my arm and turned me around, and it was Edgar. He stared into my eyes, his voice shaking and his hands shaking, asking what was wrong, where his mistake was. I told him coldly, "I don't love you anymore." It was like he got electrocuted. He cringed, his eyes reddened, he was in great pain, and I turned and walked on. "For what? For what?" he shouted after me. I got home, threw off my bags, and went about my chores. In my chat room, my classmates kept talking about me. "Witch. She's a witch." "Yeah, she didn't even say hello to her friends or her boyfriend." "Apparently, she showed her real face." I reread those messages over and over again, and my insides clenched with anger. Then my mom walked into my room. "Audrey, honey, how are you? I haven't heard from your friends in a while. How's Edgar?" my mom asked. I told her that they were doing well. Evie was about to fly to the Czech Republic for a couple of days' vacation with her mom. April had gotten a new car, and Edgar was continuing to help out with a family business. Mom smiled. "I'm glad your friends are doing well. They really love you," Mom said. And then I cried. Then I packed up my things, kissed my mom, and told her I'd go get medicine after work. I ran to one of the buildings, put on my uniform, grabbed a mop, and started mopping the floors. And as luck would have it, the elevator broke down. I had to run between floors on foot with a bucket and rags in my hands. 3 hours later, I came out of there tired, and I forgot to take off my uniform and gloves. "Shit," I said, and wanted to go in there again, but came face to face with Amanda. I was confused. No one in the class was supposed to know that I worked as a janitor. I put my face down and walked past her as fast as I could. The next day, she met me in class. "Hey, Audrey, will you mop the floors here?" she asked loudly, but I didn't say anything. April then walked over to me. "Hey, is everything okay? What is she talking about?" she asked me, but I didn't even look at her. April threatened Amanda with her fist, and Evie came over to me and put her hand on my shoulder. Amanda opened her mouth and started saying, "I went to my dad's work yesterday, and you know who I met there?" I had to do something to stop her from speaking. Evie tilted her head and asked if everything was okay, but I abruptly got up from my chair and yelled at her, "Why are you sticking it to me?" Amanda, shut up. It worked. Don't come near me. Don't touch me. You're nobody to me anymore, I said loudly. You're all nothing here. I walked out of the classroom. At that moment, I made a firm decision to quit school, and I left. On my way home, I saw an ad for another job. I was immediately hired and handed out promotional stickers. Afterward, I would run home, drop off my mother's medication, and then go back to my cleaning job. I worked at such a frantic pace for more than a month, with no days off. My mother still didn't know that I dropped out of school. I decided not to burden her as she was already sick. She had back problems, and it turned out she had a spinal hernia. An expensive operation was required, for which I had to earn the money. Hello? Yes, Mom, hi. Oh, I'm busy right now. I'll call you later, okay? No, that's okay. I just got out of school. I'm going to the cafe with Edgar. Do you want me to grab you something nice? Okay, all right. Come on. I love you. Bye-bye. I talked to her on the phone and sat down on the floor I had just scrubbed clean and cried bitter tears. My arms and legs were aching. Then the alarm sounded, and I changed my clothes and ran to my third job. Young lady, can you hurry up with my order? Why are you so slow? What, a tip? You're the worst person to serve me. Who hires people like you? Are you armless? My floors are better. Who gives out flyers like that? You have to speak louder and smile, smile. That's what I'd been hearing lately. Because of poor nutrition and lack of sleep, I couldn't work properly, but I tried so hard. Sometimes I remembered the days when my friends fed me delicious food, and I never even once invited them to my house because I was ashamed of the poverty and misery in which my mother and I lived. I didn't want them to know about it. All these years, I'd been pretending that we were living well while I was working, and when my mother got sick and my uncle ditched us for money, I finally realized that I couldn't tell them about it. I'd rather be a cold bitch than a miserable beggar. Meanwhile, the chat room continued to write nasty things about me. Only Evie, April, and Edgar weren't responding to the messages, and they weren't defending me anymore either. Yeah, well, that's what I wanted. Poverty was my vice. A couple more weeks later, I got sick, and my work rhythm was cut in half. I was on my knees scrubbing floors and breathing heavily. I had a fever. Hey, Audrey, no running away this time. Thought I wouldn't recognize you. Amanda, back off. What did you say? Amanda kicked the bucket, and all the dirt spilled all over the floor, which I'd just finished cleaning. Is that why you bailed? What, ashamed of being poor? So much so that you decided to get rid of your friends and your boyfriend? God, that's noble. You did the right thing, though, you know. Being friends with bums isn't exactly promising. Who said she stopped being friends with us? Came a voice from behind me. I turned around and saw April. She walked up to Amanda, clenched her fist, and said, I've wanted to do this for a long time. But Amanda screamed and ran away. April helped me up. I was embarrassed. How long have you known? I asked her. April, looking into my eyes, said, A couple of days ago I saw you at the cafe. And I saw you handing out flyers, Evie said. Oh no, the girls. They cleaned the floors for me, then they took me home. I opened the door, and there was the pleasant smell of food coming from the kitchen. Hey, I finally got your house. What? What are you doing here? You're not the only one. It's our first time at her house, too. Nice house. Why didn't you let us in? She was afraid you'd empty her fridge, like me. The girls laughed and came up to my smiling mom to get acquainted, and Edgar came up to me. Sorry, It's okay. We're the ones who are sorry that it took us so long to understand. It was only later that we understood why you did this. I love you, and I don't intend to say no just because you're in trouble. We're a team. I cried. You know, I'd been so wrong about them. They helped me make money. Edgar, thanks to his father's connections, found my uncle and he paid off the debt. And a year later, my mom and I did a good repair on the house, and I was reinstated to the school.